All right, so this week we thought it'd be fun to talk about the best activities, sites, and tours to do on the North Island of New Zealand. So if you are planning an epic escapades on the North Island of New Zealand, we want to know what are the awesome activities, attractions, free things, paid things, the things that are must-dos in New Zealand. Well, we've got you covered with our list of some of the favorite coming right up. Alright, so let's begin with number one on our lists, and it is...
Meet the icon of New Zealand, which is the kiwi.
You can find kiwi birds in many places in New Zealand, and one of the easiest ways to actually encounter kiwi birds in the country is actually to go do one of those kiwi encounters in some of the conservation houses. There are some in Otoronga, in the West Coast, in Franz Joseph, in Rotorua. So there's many different places where you can go and basically encounter those lovely kiwi birds. This photo in particular was taken while one of the vets at the place over there was actually doing a health check on one of the kiwi chick. So you may be able to even witness that, which is really, really awesome. All right. Next on our list, Laura, is to go as north as you can since you're on the North Island of New Zealand. So that's escaping to Cape Ringa.
Yeah, so one very popular road trip that you can do, particularly from around the Bay of Islands area, is to head all the way up north to the very top of State Highway 1 to a place called Cape Reinga, where there's a beautiful lighthouse right at the almost northernmost point. And yeah, beautiful views from there. You can see and also on your way up or down, you can do sandboarding at 90 Mile Beach. So a lot of bus tours will include that in the tour.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, next up on our list, we have enjoying a Maori cultural evening with, of course, a hangi dinner.
Yeah, so this is very popular, particularly in the town of Rotorua. So over there, you can go and experience a traditional welcoming from the local Maori tribes there, which is called a pōwhiri, and then they'll do some cultural performances like the haka, which is so captivating to watch actually in real life right in front of you. And then yes, at the end of the experience, it usually concludes with a delightful hangi buffet, which is food cooked in an underground oven,
and it's damn yummy.
Yes.
All right, next up on the list, we have hiking to the Puakai Mirror Lakes, which is in Taranaki. Our friend Fabio, one of our Patreon supporters, actually did that very recently.
Yeah, so this is getting a little bit off the beaten track to the Taranaki region in the North Island. And this is a really cool day walk that you can do to some beautiful small lakes that are situated on your way up to up Mount Taranaki. You get beautiful views of Mount Taranaki in the background as well. Yeah, it's just a really cool and popular walk to do in that area.
And last on our first 5 list is obviously trying some of New Zealand's best cepage.
Yes.
In Hawke's Bay this time.
Yeah, so Hawke's Bay is actually the oldest wine region in New Zealand. So this is where it all began for the New Zealand wine industry. And yeah, they'll tell you all about it on various wine tours that you can take in the wineries there. But otherwise, a good thing to do is to either take a driving tour where a tour guide will take you from winery to winery to do different tastings, or you can cycle around them all, and you have a little basket at the front of your bike. You can gather some bottles of wine as you go. Yeah, good luck with that.
Danger. All right, so that wraps up our first 5. Let's go back to the live chat. Let's keep things going with the East Cape sunrise. And I apologize for this very unfortunate photo. Just where Laura is right now on this photo, there is said East Cape lighthouse, which is very famous.
Yeah.
So picture Laura as a lighthouse right now. I apologize for
I'll be the lighthouse.
Yeah, I did the slideshow, but I didn't kind of think, oh yeah, that corner gets cropped.
Oh well.
Apologies.
Yeah, but anyway, speaking about the East Cape sunrise, this is definitely a really cool activity to do if you are spending a lot of time in New Zealand. You've got the opportunity to go to the Gisborne region, and on your way there, which is a really cool road trip, you can stop by the East Cape Lighthouse, which is the first point of New Zealand that sees the sunrise each day.
Of mainland New Zealand,
of
technically.
mainland New Zealand, yes. So there's a bit of a walk up to the lighthouse, which I think was having some work done on it. So hopefully it's back open now.
Well, it looked damn fine on this photo since it's you.
Yeah. But even if you can't get up to the lighthouse, as this photo so well depicts, you can get some cool photos just along the coast as well.
Nice. All right, so next up on our list we have something we were just talking about in the live chat, and that was a skydive. But we're talking about the skydive in the Bay of Island because you may be lucky enough to land on the beach.
Yeah, so the why we mention particularly the Bay of Island skydive is because they do, if the weather is correct, if it's good conditions, then you can do your landing on the nice sandy beaches of Paihia, which is very unique in New Zealand. You can't do that anywhere else. So yeah, if you want to do a skydive on the North Island and you're looking for something a bit different, also they do skydives to, I think it's up to like 19 or 20,000 feet there. So yeah, you can do it from super high.
You get to see all those 144 islands makes up the Bay of Islands, which is quite cool.
So that's a really cool activity to do.
All right, next up on our list, we have another really kind of cool thing to do, but this one is free. And that's following the crystal clear spring waters of the Te Wauhu Walkway.
Yes.
So where is that, Laura?
So yeah, it's also known as the Putaruru Blue Springs.
And how clear is the water there, Laura?
Oh, it's just unbelievably clear.
I just want to let you guys know that Laura always loves to tell me every time we see waters which are very clear, she's like, Robin, look at how clear the water is. She always states that.
I
It's
love
so funny.
seeing like bodies of water where you can see how clear the water is. That just feels so pure and so good. So yeah, this is obviously a really good activity to do the full walk. It's about 3 hours, but you can drive to, so there's 2 different places where you can park. So if you just want to get to the Blue Springs as quickly as possible, get to the main lookout area, then you can park on the other side, which makes it a bit shorter. But yeah, doing the 3 hours walk is definitely worth it, and a good way to break up that drive, especially if you're going between, say, Rotorua and Auckland. If you're looking for somewhere to break up the drive, then that's a really awesome natural attraction.
Provided that you already did Hobbiton, because pretty much everybody will do Hobbiton between Auckland and Rotorua as well. But that's kind of like a good sidestep from Hobbiton. It's a cool thing to do. Right, so next up, let's go back to some wildlife and let's experience a whale watching cruise.
Yeah, so very underrated because a lot of people think of whale watching happening in Kaikoura.
Yes, all the whale watching happens on the Southern, doesn't it?
But no. You could go to Auckland and do the Auckland Whale and Dolphin Safari, which actually departs right from the city centre itself at the Viaduct Harbour. And this is, you will see you see lots of different wildlife on these cruises. You'll see dolphins, whales. Obviously it's a wildlife experience, so obviously seeing particular animals is never a guarantee, but we have done this tour about 3 times and we've seen amazing stuff every single time.
Oh, there is the video we have, the first video of us ever doing that tour on the channel. We get to see gannets diving while a bright world is coming together. It's just like so much action on the water in that. It's just absolutely epic.
It's amazing just what you can see in the Auckland in the Auckland Harbour. So
which you don't really think of quite often. But all right, and so number 10 on our list is, well, all the geysers, hot springs, silica terraces, and more in all the geothermal park that North Island has to feature. So where are all those geothermal parks located?
So most of them will be located around the Rotorua area and between Rotorua and Taupo. So that whole area between those 2 towns is very active with geothermal activity. And some really cool geothermal parks that you can check out is the Waimangu Volcanic Valley. This one is a really large one, so there's various different hiking trails that you can do there, or if you just want to make it a short visit, you can walk down to the lake and they'll bring you back up in the bus type thing. So lots of options there. There's also Oraki Korako, which even to get to the geothermal park, you take a little bit of a short little ferry crossing across the Waikato River, which is a pretty cool entrance to the geothermal park. There's also other geothermal parks like Wyo.
So those are two like more like hidden gems geothermal park, but then you have the main ones.
Then you have the main ones, which is Wyo Tapu, which is famous for its champagne pools. There's also the Waikiki Valley thermal pools, which actually is a hot pool complex as well, but they have a bit of a thermal walk there. There's
and Te Puia as well.
Te Puia, yeah, which also combines with some Maori attractions there as well. So you really have a huge array of geothermal parks to choose from in that area.
All right, so that wraps up our first 10. More to come. All right, so number 11 on our list is the rapids of Hooker Falls in the town of Taupo.
Yeah.
So how impressive is Hooker Falls, Laura?
It's very impressive. If you want to see a whole bunch of water just squeezing its way in such a crazy, tumultuous way down a narrow canyon, then this is for you. Hooker Falls is the most visited natural attraction in New Zealand because it is so easy to access. The car park is right there at the attraction. You just park up and then you are 2 seconds away from the bridge where you can see the first viewing of Hooker Falls. But there are different walkways around the area to get different views, so make sure you, explore a little bit to get some different angles.
You can see it within 5 seconds and you can see it for hours.
Yes.
So yeah, you can choose how long you want to see it for. Okay, so let's stick within the same area right here and let's head to another extremely popular attraction in New Zealand, and that's the beautiful Tongariro National Park with the Tongariro crossing. Look at that photo of me.
Yes.
I love it. It's one of my favorite photos of myself. 19.6 kilometers. I'm saying it first. Here you go. That's how long the hike is.
Yeah, it's a full day hike and it's one way, so you best way to deal with the logistics of that is to take one of the shuttle services that will take you to the beginning of the walk, and you can spend all day enjoying yourself, walking through the beautiful mountain scenery. There are a few very steep sections, so some at least a bit of fitness is required. But yeah, it is a long day for most people. Definitely not something that you should rush, even though a lot of people do
take your time, enjoy
brag about them doing, I did it in 4 hours or whatever. No, take 6 to 8 hours, enjoy yourself. There's some cool side tracks to some little waterfalls and stuff. Make sure you're prepared with lots of water, lots of snacks. And then otherwise you'll have a beautiful time in some amazing volcanic landscapes.
Next up on the list, we're going from the top of the volcanoes to the bottom of the seas with an awesome scuba diving trip in Pornite Island, living from beautiful Tutukaka.
Yeah, so Pornite Island is one of the top places to scuba dive in New Zealand. If you go there in winter, you might also get the opportunity to swim with seals, but they're not there all year round. But yeah, there's some really cool arch formations that are connected to these volcanic islands, and then once you get there, there's all sorts of amazing schools of fish. Mau Arches is one of the places that we scuba dived there. You can check out our video on our channel of us scuba diving in Pornite Islands, because just talking about it doesn't do it justice. It's really a place that you have to see with your own eyes.
It's really amazing. All right, so next up, you've got to dig your own hot pools because, work, you lazy travelers. Dig your own hot pools in Hot Water Beach. So why do you dig your own hot pools there? Just explain the concept right now.
Okay,
it's weird.
So underneath the sands of what is called Hot Water Beach in the Coromandel, there is a hot spring and the water sort of seeps up through the sands, but it's only in a place that you can access at low tide. So then at low tide, where you get to the very points where you can access where the hot water is, then as the tide sort of starts to come back in, you'll get some cool water mixing in with the hot water that comes through the sand, and then you've created your own little hot pool. Obviously, if you dig a little bit, it's not just on the surface. You do have to dig. It's just some shallow pools, and it's just a really unusual sort of experience that's really unique, and and you can do it in the Coromandel.
It's heaps of fun. Okay, speaking of heaps of fun, something that you can't only do once, you've got to do it twice or thrice. It's the luge. So we have the luge in Rotorua on the North Island.
Yes, we do. So after taking the Skyline gondola to the top, there you have 3 different tracks which you can take on the luge, which is basically go-karts that are powered by gravity. So all you do is you're lifting handles up and down.
The first thing you're doing is to put some weight on in order to actually accelerate.
Yeah,
right?
so
you put your own body on there. you put some weight.
You sit in there, then all you're doing is lifting up the handlebars to brake and to speed up and etc. etc. So
Look at my big butt right here powering me down the hill.
Notice who's in front, winning the race.
Wow, who has the biggest butt then?
Oh, true.
I don't know if you want to go there.
Yeah, whoopsie. I will. Yeah, biggest butt is me, I guess. So really fun to do.
Yeah.
Really, a lot of people get very competitive with racing down there.
Says Laura that was like, notice who's in first right now.
It's just, something about the luge just like changes you, But yeah.
No, you cannot blame it on the luge. You were always like
There
that.
is an option in Queenstown, but people amongst the circles of people that have done both, usually we say that Rotorua is the best one.
Indeed. All right, so that wraps up 15 right now. More to come. 5 more things to do on the North Island, which are absolutely awesome. And let's begin with Kapiti Island. You can kind of step back in time there and just see back what New Zealand looked like before humans arrived.
Yeah, so this is a way that you can sort of experience a bird sanctuary in New Zealand, because islands make great bird sanctuaries, as the water provides a great barrier for invasive species and pests. So you can take various boat tours from Paraparaumu along the Kapiti coast, and they take you along to Kapiti Island, where there's a few walks that you can do, and you can see and hear so many different native birds. There's lots to see there. You can even do overnight experiences where they have kiwi bird on the island, so you can go and see if you can spot any kiwi birds overnight.
Okay, next up we have mineral hot pools. Ooh. You can soak in many of them on the North Island. There is really a lot of them.
Yes, so we were talking about this a bit earlier in the video.
Yeah, for Willie that was asking some questions.
Yes, but most of the sort of natural geothermal hot pools, or at least naturally fed geothermal hot pools, are based along the Rotorua and Taupo area. You have the Polynesian Spa, which is right in the city centre of Rotorua, which is a great option. They have their sort of luxury pools, their deluxe pools, and also the pools that all the rest of us like to go to. But
the peasants' pool.
But either way, both experiences are great. There's also Taupo de Bretts, the Waireki Terraces, both of those in Taupo. We have lists on nzpocketguide.com for the best hot pools in New Zealand, so go check it out.
So you can compare what makes them different and choose the best one for you.
Yes.
Next up, what about a great walk? And by that I mean a great walk.
Yeah, don't take an average walk. Don't just take an okay walk. In New Zealand, the Department of Conservation has things called the New Zealand Great Walks, which are multi-day hikes that are very superbly maintained. They have massive huts that you can stay in along the trail overnight. Again, you do need to have some sort of self-sufficiency, so you will need to take your own food, your own sleeping bag, etc., etc. Your water
and more water.
You will need a big backpack for these multi-day trails, but they are definitely worth the experience to get out in the wilderness. There's various ones that you can do on the North Island. You have the Tongariro Circuit, the Lake Waikaremoana, which is a really cool one as well. There's is there any other ones on the North Island, or is that just that?
I think that's the 2 ones in the North Island.
Two main ones in the North Island. So that's the Great Walks of New Zealand. There's a couple on the North Island worth exploring.
All right. What about we send people skiing down an active volcano?
Yeah. So
Want to brand something mightily? Go for that.
A lot of people don't realise that there are ski fields on the North Island, not just on the South Island. And actually, the largest ones are around Mount Ruapehu, which is indeed an active volcano. So during the winter months, there is snow on the upper parts of the mountain, and of course, chairlifts, T-bars, pulleys, all sorts of crazy sort of lifts where to get your New Zealand experience of skiing. But they have lots of well-groomed trails and lessons if you want to learn as well.
Can you hear the music in your head? Okay,
Yeah,
let's go
so
to
if you want
Hobbiton,
to
visit
go-
Middle Earth.
Go to the Shire, then yes, one of the popular activities to do on the North Island is go to Hobbiton, the Hobbiton movie set, which is still preserved to this day to look like the
Bristol, preserved, rebuilt. Yeah, you know, kind of like it's not a
Maintained.
historical artifact. Let's be honest.
Yeah, true. Restored in its all its glory. Yeah, so the Hobbiton movie set looks just like it did in the movies of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So you can go and do a nice short tour there. They'll give you some sort of behind the scenes insights as you're walking around. And then finally, at the end of the tour, you go to the Green Dragon Tavern to get yourself a nice cup of ale.
Here you go. All right, that's 5 more, and that makes it 20 best thing to do on the North Island of New Zealand. Let's go back to the live chat. Okay, a very, very cool adrenaline activity to do on the North Island of New Zealand is whitewater rafting. And yeah, there is many good spots to do it.
Yeah, one of our favourite spots to do whitewater rafting on the North Island is the Rangitikei River, which you can do with River Valley, located near the town of Taihape. They have a really awesome whitewater rafting sort of set up there where you go with, very professional guides. They're also a little bit cheeky as well. But yeah, that's a really cool spot to do some whitewater rafting. We also...
And Kiri Loren in the chat says that she did whitewater rafting at River Valley and loved it. So,
yeah, it is really fun. We do have videos on the channel of us doing that experience. Another really cool river just to mention is the Mohaka River near Napier. So that's another cool option as well.
Indeed. Well, let's stay on the water and let's go jet boating.
Yes. So yeah, you can do the rapids jet,
which is kind of whitewater rafting, but with a jet boat.
It is one of the very unique jet boating experiences in New Zealand, where you are going over some quite big rapids, which usually you are going on sort of flat rivers and lakes on other jet boating experiences in New Zealand. But near the town of Taupo, rapids jet gives you a very more, I would argue, a more adventurous adrenaline experience on their jet boat there.
And if you want something less adventurous, we're going close to Hookah Falls. There is Hookah Jet there.
Yes.
All right, next up, something which is probably on everybody's itinerary. I think is no news right here. The glowworms.
Yeah, so Waitomo is the famous go-to destination for your glowworm experiences.
For all these shiny maggot experiences.
Yep, there's more than just the obvious, the Waitomo glowworm caves are obviously the most obvious short experience that you can do there, where you go into the walkway, and then onto a boat to sort of float underneath the glowworms. But there are actually lots of different tours that you can do in Waitomo. There is Spellbound, there is Cave World, there is Blackwater Rafting, Waitomo Adventures. So make sure you do compare all your options there, because there really is a lot of ways to experience the glowworms.
Indeed. All right, so let's get out of the cave and right in the sun with some surfing in the mecca of surf in New Zealand, which is Raglan.
Yes, if you want to go to the hotspot for surfing, whether you're an avid surfer, you can go there, stay in one of the local backpackers. They'll tell you where to go, and yeah, you can go do your own independent surfing. But there's also lots of opportunities to learn to surf on a nice sandy beach. So there's lots of surf schools in Raglan, and it's a great place to learn to surf and just enjoy the nice relaxed atmosphere of the town.
And finally, let's meet the giant of the forest, the father of the North Island, beautiful Tane Mahuta.
Yes, so kauri are the largest trees in New Zealand. They are, just in terms of their sort of, their girth is really huge.
Yep.
So, going on into the Waipua forest is where you will find the largest kauri tree in New Zealand, called Tane Mahuta. It's on a very short walk. All the walks in this area are all boardwalks as well, so the terrain is very easy to walk on, and they're mostly very short walks too. But once you see these trees, they're very impressive to see for yourself, see the sheer size of them, and also it's a cool area to see kiwi bird if you're lucky on an evening.
Indeed. All right, so that wraps up 25 things to do on the North Island of New Zealand. I hope that you guys all enjoyed that. If you want to hit like, subscribe, all this kind of good thing, that's always handy. But most importantly, if you want to see all of this information in written form with even more like links and locations and all of that, head to nzpocketguide.com and you'll have all that at the ready, all for free.